Oh my gosh, y'all, welcome back. Part 1 of Trapped in the Closet brought back some memories. I had to cut it. Mason had me trapped in so many different ways, but we'll get to that. When I picked up that birthday card and saw the word wife, my heart sunk. Part 2 is going to be a wild ride. Let's get into it. Oh, and if you've ever been in a similar situation, let me know in the comments. I put the card down and walked back outside. Mason came following behind me, asking me to wait. I'm like, wait for what? You're married. I asked if you were single the first day we met, and you said yes.
Please, just let me explain. She's gone. We're in the middle of a divorce, but I didn't want to tell you that when we first met. I figured you wouldn't believe me, and I didn't want to give a bad first impression.
Bad first impression? Doesn't make sense to me, but okay. Those white jeans and brown loafers are what gave a bad first impression.
See? That's why I love you.
Wait, what? Love me? Mason, just stop. I think I'm ready to call it a night.
I think you're ready to go back inside. Come on.
Mason then laughed and said he had a surprise for me inside the house. He said he's sorry and to please come inside. I decided to let it go, but my intuition was instructing me otherwise. Ladies, always listen to your intuition. Always. When we got back inside, Mason gave me a gift. It was a pair of diamond earrings with a matching necklace. He then asked, "Will you be mines?" I said, "Yes." Let's fast forward a couple of weeks. I haven't heard from Kay. I called her a few times during that time span, but she didn't answer, so I decided to stop by her mom's house. When I arrived, she was standing outside with her cousin. Hey Jazz, hey Kay girl, I've been calling you. You haven't been answering, so I decided I'll just swing by.
Hey, Sasha, I haven't seen you since my hair was blonde. Girl, it's purple now. Cute earrings and necklace. Did that come from Mason? Kay told me all about the lover boys.
That fake shit. Girl, bye. And I was busy dealing with shit from Andre.
Wow, really, Kay? What's your problem?
I don't have a problem. Anyway, Andre is about to pull up.
What the heck is her problem? The hell? I don't have time.
Sasha, don't worry about that. She's always flip-flopping, but that was rude. She's going through something right now, but I'll let her tell you about that on her own.
I see, now you know what I meant when I described her in part 1. So, what had happened was, she found out that Andre was a scammer. He used fake credit cards to take her on that shopping spree. And I'll just wrap up Kay's part of this story because I have a lot more to tell about Mason the monster. Later on in their relationship, Kay also found out that he was cheating on her with an underage girl. Yep, crazy, right? And on top of that, she had 2 kids with him. He was doing some other inappropriate things as well. Things that led to parents trying to hunt him down. He ended up putting his own self to rest. On top of other things that Kay did in regards to Mason and I decided to cut off the friendship. She wasn't supportive and did things that a friend just would not do. So, let's get to the meat of this story. Let me also say again, ladies, always listen to your intuition. It will never fail you. Take domestic violence serious. A person who loves you will never hurt you. I started a new job. Now, this was toward the end of what's considered the early 2000s, so I had a pager. I bet some of you watching probably don't know what that is, LOL. Just Google it. That morning, I couldn't find my pager, so I left without it. Mason had my pager, y'all. He showed up at my new job in a rage. The office I was in was small and the entrance stayed locked. Mason started banging on the door, yelling my name. First, I was confused and scared. Like, what is going on? I went outside and he started yelling at me about a page. The highway was right across from my work. This man threw my pager across the highway over an unknown number that he saw on my pager. I'd never seen him like that before. I did know that he was possessive and controlling, as if that wasn't enough to run. But I was 21, he was 30, and he had this hold over me. It's like I knew it would be hard to break up with him because he treated me like his prized possession. And who's letting go of their prized possession? It's like when O.J. Simpson went to that hotel room to collect his memorabilia. He had so much emotion wrapped up in his prized possessions that he was willing to risk it all. Anyway, being in a relationship with Mason started to become extremely overwhelming. The true meaning of an emotional roller coaster. So, I've already said controlling and possessive. Now add obsessive and abusive to the mix. I was fired from my job. The office I was in was small and intimate, so everyone saw and heard what happened. Those people were scared. The money I had saved covered my rent for the next couple of months until my lease ended. You guys, I moved in with Mason. Yes, I know. This is when everything came out. But before we get to that, I came home one day, and as soon as I opened the door, a phone was slammed up against my ear, and it was painful. Listen to this, Mason says. Who is this guy leaving you a voicemail? An old friend reached out to me. I told Mason it was an old friend that I hadn't heard from since before we met. When I finally make it through the door, I see Andre and Kay sitting on the couch laughing. So sad. I just went and locked myself in the bathroom and cried. Mason was up under me so much, I wouldn't even have the time to cheat or see other people if I wanted to. In between the times when Mason was acting crazy, he was overflowing me with love, but an obsessive type of love. If I would try to leave him, he's following me from destination to destination while I'm trying to get away, crying, begging, and pleading, like mounds of tears and snot type of crying. It was just too much. Like, sir, you're doing all of this, but when I'm with you, you're treating me like crap. I remember this one time. We were in the Mickey D's drive-thru. I was upset because of him and didn't feel like eating, so I told him I didn't want anything. As we were driving on the highway, I ended up asking him for a chicken nugget. This MF flew into a rage. He put the food in my lap and started speeding toward the exit. The light was red, so he had to slam on his brakes and the food hit the floor. Tell me why this man tried to make me eat the nuggets off the floor. I threw them out of the window. He leans across me, opens the door, and says, "Pick them up." When things were good between Mason and I, we did all of the things that couples would do. Showers, you name it. When things were bad, Mason would force me to still do things with him like take showers. His rage was like a pit bull barking in your face, foam, spit, and all. I was done. I was so happy to get a call back from a job I applied for. It was paid training, and the training was out of town. The day Mason dropped me off at the airport so that I could go to my job training, I noticed that he never pulled off. He eventually drove forward, but I could still see him as I was standing in the line for check-in. A woman comes out of the airport and gets in the car. I'm so over it at this point. I don't even call him about it. While I was out of town for my 2-week job training, I didn't answer his texts or calls for the first week. So that I could use my phone, I finally texted him that I saw what happened at the airport. He was calling so much that I decided to turn my phone off. When he thinks he's about to lose me, he gets in his begging, pleading, and crying mode. He told me that it was his ex-wife and that she was in town to get some important things from the house and wrap up some other things with the divorce settlement. You guys, it was all a lie. This man was not divorced. His wife was the breadwinner. They relocated to my state for her job that required her to travel. When they bought the house, which was shortly after we met, she was still settling things with the other house and also working out of state. He moved into the new house to set everything up before her arrival. This definitely explained why he had so much time on his hands. He was the damn stay-at-home wife. I mean husband. When I came back from training, I still hadn't found out yet. Oh yes, it also explains why Mason and I stayed in the upstairs bedroom. The main bedroom was downstairs. She was flying in and out, so to have me in the main bedroom at any point would be too risky. Not having to clean up behind me and vice versa made it easier for him not to get caught up. When I got home, Mason seemed a little anxious. He knew his wife had never left town. I was tired when I got there, so I went straight upstairs to shower and rest. You already know he followed right behind me. Instead of letting me rest, Mason starts with baby talk and let's make one. We're finally getting to what happened after the phone rang in part 1. Knowing that his wife was back and working local, Mason had already moved my car, but he wasn't expecting her to come home before he was able to tell me what was going on. When he said, "She's here," I was confused at first, but then I started putting 2 and 2 together. I wasn't prepared for anything like this to happen. I was shocked. I didn't know what to do. His wife walking in on us naked. Oh no. I was just hoping we didn't run into each other at that moment. So humiliating. After all that Mason and I have been through, I didn't have the energy to confront him about the situation, especially not knowing which Mason I would get. I felt so disgusted. I drove to a hotel and made him pay for a 2-night stay. I also told him to go get me the things I needed to get cleaned up. We were in such a rush that I didn't have time to grab anything. Mason was such a wreck. He ended up using the wrong card to pay for all of this stuff. So, his wife got the notification for everything. She ended up throwing all of my things out. Mason didn't know. She also texted me the next day from his phone and told me to come and get my things. Apparently, she must have deleted the text before Mason saw it. Me, thinking it was him, I go to get my things. When I walked up to the front door, it slung open. She was standing there with a 7-month pregnant belly. When Mason saw what was happening, he grabbed his wife by the throat and pulled her in the house. He told her, "Don't you ever do no shit like that again." I came in the house to get him off of her, but he had already let her go. He told her he wasn't trying to hurt the baby. I left and I was done. Mason continued to chase after me for several months. It was so exhausting, bobbing and weaving in and out of traffic to lose him. The crying, just all of it. I was done. The wife was tired and hated the sound of my name. He was so consumed with me that it continued to spill over into his marriage. Eventually, she took another opportunity with her job and relocated to another state. Their child was born in my hometown. And that, my friends, concludes my story time. Well, actually, you would think it concludes my story time. Throughout the years, Mason would still reach out to me. No matter how much time passed by, he would pick right back up where we left off, as if we were stuck in time. Whenever I would bring up who he is and the things that he's done, he would get angry and tell me I'm living in the past. He would get disrespectful and I would hang up on him. It was a continuous cycle. Fast forward to the past few years and even this year. This man still reaches out to me with the same sick mindset as if I'm still 21. "Sir, you don't know who I am anymore. And why are you calling me out the blue telling me how much you love me and that you want to make love to me?" Where's Mason, you ask? Somewhere watching me on social media and still living with his wife.